This is Bronnie, The Bronnie Show, every Wednesday. Follow Bronnie everywhere, at Bronnie Music.
Hello everyone, I am here with my favourite artist that I've seen this weekend at C2C. It's Jake Vaadeland. So how's the UK treating you?
Really good. I've been here a long time now. I've been home I've been in Europe in general for almost the last 2 months.
So when did you go home?
Tomorrow. There was one time there we flew all the way back to Toronto for one day to record in the middle of this whole tour here and then flew back.
Oh, wow.
But I don't say that I've gone home because that's nowhere near my home.
So what are the differences with the UK compared to back at home with your programme, you know, when you play? Have you seen any differences with the UK fans?
Everything's all the same except it's all on the opposite side of the road. Yeah. I hate to almost suggest that the crowds here are almost a little more enthusiastic about our show, how we go about the live show, the program, and the type of music that we play. I think people at home are a little more used to that kind of part of the culture. I think that's a lot of young people here too that really get very enthusiastic about what we're doing and stuff. Even just now, like here at C2C, at the crowds, I've noticed a lot of really young people, more so than we get in Canada. We do get young people in Canada, but a lot of people here, and they seem to really enjoy it and want to come and talk to you afterwards, and they have lots to comment about it. So I've noticed that about the audiences here and in Europe in general.
Yeah, it's so amazing to see because, you know, the country scene has grown so much in the UK.
Yeah.
And especially with your authenticity on stage, you know, it's hard to miss. So since I've discovered your music, you have been my number one artist to recommend to all artists, all fans. So what I want to know is, how did it all start for you? Was it a certain thing, you know, like growing up? Was it your family? Did you always know that you'd want to go into music as a kid? How did it all happen for you?
Both my parents were musical, both working in bands and in groups. My father worked in a couple somewhat successful groups. And so I, first had my eyes open to the whole industry at a very young age. And there was a bluegrass festival about 15 minutes from the ranch that I grew up on. And I always got in on that every year, banjos and fiddles. And the little country church house that we had just down the road, everybody come to church on Sunday with guitars and banjos of all things, and fiddles and mandolin, and that's what they played, and we'd all sing together. So I had that growing up. People come over to when I was at Grandma and Grandpa's house with you see headlights coming down the driveway. My grandma would always say that you turn the coffee pot on and get the instruments out, no questions asked. They never locked their doors on the farm either. That's the thing. Anybody could just come in the house. I used to sneak out at night if I couldn't sleep and go lock them on them because I couldn't. It helped me sleep at night. But there was a fella, we were on a cattle farm, and there was a fella just down the road that was a year younger than me. He was on a sawmill with his father, so he worked sawmill all day. I was with the cattle all day, or raking in the field or something. And we'd get together afterwards and start learning banjo together and start playing banjo and jam and stuff. We were the music kids. Everybody else liked to go play baseball after their day was done. And we liked to go and play instruments. So of course we didn't get along with the other farm kids and stuff in the area. And we really were influenced by Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, Flatt and Scruggs. And so I started studying them a whole lot and saw the significance of Lester Flatt in particular and what he brought to the table, how professional and good he was at composing a program and running a tight-knit show. And so I studied that and come up with my own modern-day version of it to bring to the people now and try and bring that kind of entertainment back. Not just the music, that's one thing, but the entire show, the entire brand, the whole bit, bring it all back for the people to see again.
100%, I can see that. So what is one of your favourite songs to play live?
One of my favorite songs to play live, I think now, is going back to Nashville. It's fast, it's easy, it's simple. I can remember the words all the time, and I mean it too. Like I'll probably have to go back, and I did go back after I wrote the song and I sang it for him too. But I'm proud of it, and it's the truth. I don't get along very well in Nashville. Maybe someday I will, but I still don't think I'll ever really quite click with it, because I had this thing in my mind growing up. I'd never been to the States from Canada, and I just had it pictured by watching the old Grand Ole Opry shows and the Martha White sponsored shows, and that it was Bill Monroe, Ernest Tubb, Lester Flatt, Earl Scruggs, all those people. I thought that's what Nashville was, people like that, and good professional people, and that kind of music and that kind of industry, and that kind of entertainment. Those people, took you under their wing, and they'd get other artists going. You know, Ernest Tubb was semi-responsible for Loretta Lynn and Elvis Presley a little bit too. You know, and there's none of those people left anymore that wanna help you out and bring on the next generation. And the Opry isn't even what it used to be. So when I saw that, I was totally this very, very heartbroken almost, that this Nashville that I had in mind didn't exist. So in answer to your question, that's my favorite song to play.
Yeah, well, it's a jam. You see people like stomping their toes on the dance floor and all that. But I like how you speak the truth. You're not afraid to say that. And I guess what a lot of people say is, don't meet your heroes, but it's like, don't meet, your favorite city, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Tell me, in fact, how do you put your programs together? Because you have the songs, you have like the instrumental parts, the ad breaks, the comedic timings. It's so perfect. I love how you gel with your band so much. So what makes a Jake Vaadeland show a Jake Vaadeland program?
Well, of course, it's sort of evolved and gotten better. I've done tweaks to it over the last 4 years. But for the most part, the structure, although it may not always seem like it, the what do you want to call it? The foundation is pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. And the house on top of it may look a little different. Might use different siding, different shingles, painted a different color, but the foundation is always the same. So it's the same layout every time. And so that took me a while to get that figured out, and where I can introduce people and where I should put jokes. But I always got so stressed out about it, and that's why I'm so thankful that I finally got the foundation pretty much right. It's the same formula every time. I can mix and match songs, but only certain songs can go in certain places. Mm-hmm. Certain songs with certain keys, and you got to take into account, does my banjo player need to do some funny tuning? There's about 4 different tunings on the banjo, and there's 2 different tunings on the acoustic guitar, and I've got an electric guitar player who also plays acoustic, so he needs time to switch. So if I need to talk there, or maybe I need to send them off the stage so that they can tune and stuff, and I'll do a song with myself and the bass player while they're doing that and getting ready, so that when they come on, we can seamlessly go to the next song with no dead air. Mm-hmm. The other thing about it that I love is that we're using omnidirectional microphones, 2, 1 for each musician on each side, my electric guitar player and acoustic guitar, the banjo player, and then of course the center vocal for myself and when the boys gang out to sing. And that adds for a lot of, I call it kind of like herding cattle, Yeah. You got to sort of push people around and maneuver right. Maybe hit someone in the face with your guitar,
What's a gig without hitting someone in the face by accident? Yeah. Or maybe not on accident, who knows. So for the last question, so in your song Retro Man, you kind of talk about growing up as what we'd call an old soul. Now, for people growing up who feel the same, what was it like in high school? Did you feel like you could be yourself? Did you have to kind of conform to the, standards, I guess? What would your message be to them, growing up, feeling the same?
I haven't touched on that for a while now, so that'd be a good refresher to try to talk about it again. I wrote that song like 4 years ago, and that was when because I grew up in an area, Scandinavian settlements, was not behind the times value-wise, but I mean, we were ranchers and farmers. We tucked our shirts in and stuff like that, and I moved to a different place and lived there in town with my mother, and all the high school kids were dressing a little different, listening to different music. So I kind of tried that. I felt like I didn't fit in, like maybe they thought I was the equivalent of a how-to-write kid or something like that that's coming to school and dresses funny, And so I sort of felt that way. So I tried to fit in, and I should have never done that because I didn't like that. I felt uncomfortable, and so I went right back to the way I was, just try to be myself, listen to my kind of music. And they really wanted to be a musician. The teachers, they would kind of tell me, sometimes aggressively too, that wasn't going to work out. You had to go to university and take the don't just go for the 24 credits equivalent thing. You gotta go higher, take lots of classes, make sure you know what you're going to do in university. So I left school and I finished online, did it myself. I took a bunch of art classes and just got out as soon as possible. But it was during that time that I wrote Retro Man, because I had in my mind that I got my head on straight, finally figured out I was just going to do it my way. I didn't care how everybody else did it. And I wanted to write a song to pen out my frustrations with it, or at least, that confirmation that I've got my head on straight. But also then other people listen to that recording or hear me play it at live shows, see the confidence I have singing it. It goes to show them that, they can have that same confidence being themselves, not just being an old soul or dressing this way, I'm just confidently saying I'm the way I am. I'm going to be that. I can do it because I can do it. I don't care what people say. So, however, anybody else is different. I know there's a lot of those things coming out these days, especially for young people. Lots of ways you could be different. Everybody is different and unique, and that's just my small contribution to try and help the cause. You know?
Amazing, great message. Well, Jake, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This is Bronnie, The Bronnie Show, every Wednesday. Follow Bronnie everywhere at Bronnie Music.